Hello everyone and welcome back to another SkillCapped guide. I'm Carnage and today I will be going over the 5 best guns that no one uses. These are going to be guns that are useful in a lot of different scenarios, but everyone just seems to ignore them. Let me know what you think about each one of these guns in the comments section down below. Now, without any further ado, let's start by going over the classic pistol. The classic pistol is probably the most common gun we're going to talk about on this list, but it is still not used nearly as much as you would expect. The classic pistol is free on pistol round, which is one of the key reasons that it is so strong. With this strategy of using the classic, you are actually able to purchase armor and even some abilities on pistol round. Normally, we see players buying a ghost on pistol round. Well, the ghost only does 105 damage to the head, so even just buying light armor will allow you to not be one-tapped. So with this classic, you end up getting the extra 25 HP that comes with light armor, and you still have 400 credits left over. These 400 credits can be used to purchase some abilities which are extra strong on pistol round. One of the best examples of this is the Sage Wall. Sage's Wall is extra strong on pistol round because it is much more difficult to break with pistols than it is with rifles. This is solely because pistols shoot slower, do less damage, and have less ammo. All of these added together make a pistol round Sage Wall very powerful. And another great feature that the classic has that is overlooked is the right click feature. This right click or alternate fire shoots out 3 bullets in a shotgun type spread. The reason this is so useful is because it is surprisingly accurate while jumping and can easily one-shot someone that is close. So, not only can you one-shot enemies, you can also chain your left and right click together to do extra damage quickly. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, you can left click your target down to low health, and then right click to finish them off with little to no delay. Here we see side by side the difference between left clicking and then chaining your right click, and right clicking then trying to left click. And remember, chaining this right click is super easy. After you shoot your enemy with left click, simply right click as soon or late as you want to get those extra 2 bullets out earlier than you would expect. Okay, I think that we can all see why the classic might be a pistol that you want to try out. But next, I want to talk about the absolute favorite pick on this list. This weapon is an absolute powerhouse in a couple of situations, and that is the Marshal. Now, I know what you might be thinking, the Marshal's just a worse operator. It doesn't even one-shot. Well, you're right, but you're also wrong. The Marshal can be extremely useful when used on the second round of the game, especially after winning pistol round. There are a ton of reasons that I almost always buy the Marshal after winning pistol round. The first reason is that it is only 1,100 credits. This usually means I can have heavy armor as well as all of my other abilities. And because of the nature of the Marshal, I play from a far range, which usually makes me a much harder target during that second round, which also usually allows me to keep my armor. Not only does this gun make a lot of economic sense, it also makes sense for getting kills. After you win pistol round, you will be put in a situation where the enemy saves and you buy. This is what will normally happen, and this is why the Marshal is so strong. Because the enemies are saving, they usually don't have armor, and without armor, the Marshal will one-shot with a bullet to the chest. So, to sum it up, the Marshal is so strong because it is a great option to use against enemies that are saving because it will one-hit them. Alright, now onto a weapon that seems to be overlooked for its more expensive counterpart. I'm talking about the Stinger. Most people ignore the Stinger and instead opt for a gun like the Spectre. But I think the Stinger can actually be a better option a lot of the time. The Stinger only costs 1,000 credits and can be extremely deadly when used correctly. This gun is the fastest firing gun in the game, which also in turn makes it one of the hardest to control. This is what balances the gun, but we can actually use this to our advantage. Knowing this is the fastest firing gun can help you determine exactly how to perfectly play with it. One of the best examples of this is specifically in Bind Hookah. If you sit here and a player comes, you can almost always win this fight because of that so fast fire rate. This gun can succeed in really any close quarter tight situation solely because of its insanely fast fire rate. And now, I know what you might be thinking. Almost any gun can succeed in close quarters. Well, here is really where the stinger can shine. The alternate fire or aim down sight version of this weapon can also be used pretty efficiently. This alternate fire is a 4-round burst that shoots at 8.4 rounds per second. The reason this can be used so well is because the recoil is so easy to control compared to how many bullets are going to be shot out. Hopefully, since this gun is so powerful and so cheap, you can use it to secure some extra kills on those eco rounds. Now, before we hop into the craziest pick on this list, I want to talk about probably the most used weapon on this list, and that is the Bucky. The Bucky is a shotgun that only costs 900 credits. This shotgun can kill an enemy with one shot, easily above 10 meters away. This gun is insane, especially since it is the lowest costing primary weapon in Valorant. The one part of this gun that I do want to focus on is its alternate fire, because it can be so strong, especially considering the fact that it is a shotgun. Let me explain what this means. The alternate fire allows the Bucky to fire a slug that doesn't detonate until 7.5 meters out. This means that the gun can be very deadly at a very close range, but can also do significant damage at a far range. Compare this to its counterpart, the Judge, and we see the Judge actually lacks the ability to deal damage from a distance. I think this makes the Bucky a great choice for save rounds, especially if you have the option to hold close angles. And again, the gun only costs 900 credits, so even if you don't get any kills with it and you lose the round, it won't really hurt your economy that much. Overall, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Bucky revolution of sorts, where the gun is utilized more and more. Keep this weapon in the back of your mind, and depending on where you're playing and even who you're playing, maybe try it out. Now, I know earlier I said that the Marshal was probably my favorite pick of the video, but I think this one is going to have to take the cake and probably be my absolute favorite pick of this video, and that is the Odin. The Odin is probably the most underused weapon in Valorant, and for a lot of reasons. The first reason being, the gun is seen as a troll weapon. Usually if someone's using an Odin, they're trolling and just messing around because it's fun. The second reason that we don't see this gun being used often is because of the price tag. The Odin costs 3,200 credits, making it the second most expensive weapon in the game, just behind the Operator. And lastly, many players don't see any actual use for the Odin, considering they could just buy a Vandal or Phantom and easily go for the more traditional kills and playstyle. Now, hear me out. This reasoning against the Odin makes sense, but there are some other potential factors that I don't think many people are considering. For instance, the wall penetration is a huge one. The Odin has a high wall penetration, meaning it is able to shoot through certain walls that the Vandal or Phantom isn't. My favorite spot to show this is on Ascent B site. You can shoot through this wall and hopefully line up some enemies for some absolute free kills. You could even pair this with a Sova arrow to almost guarantee a kill. And don't forget, this is only one of the many spots that this is possible. And next, to counter the Vandal and Phantom argument, I want to point something out about this weapon that you might not realize. The playstyle of a Vandal or Phantom is so vastly different from the Odin that they are barely comparable. The Odin is meant to be used to hold off many enemies by laying out insane amounts of suppressive fire, while the rifles are meant to be precision weapons to guarantee eliminations. If you use the Odin and try to get precision kills rather than use it for its intended suppressive fire, I guarantee you will not succeed. Well, that was 5 guns that are underrated and absolutely no one is using in Valorant right now. Let me know your thoughts on this list in the comment section down below. Do you think these guns can be useful, or do you disagree with some of my picks? Let me know. And while you're down there, consider liking this video and subscribing to the SkillCapped channel with notifications on so that you can keep up with the best premium Valorant content found on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching through this SkillCapped guide. This has been Carnage, and good luck, good half, and good game.